The value of CNObound is fantastic. The business directory is really useful. In fact, I've used it today because I needed to find something very, very quickly. So quickly went online, straight to the business directory, found what I wanted in about 30 seconds. So really, really useful. I would recommend CNObound for every business, whether you're a small business just starting out or you're established and you've been going for quite a while. You'll find something that will help you. The support that Charlotte and Jamie have given me has been amazing. My business last year, I had to stop basically because I'm very face-to-face in venues, and they gave me a platform in order for me to do some online cooking with them, which was fantastic, and actually started me doing some Zoom ones for my classes as well.
Hello and welcome to CNObound Live and also International Networking Week.
It is, and to celebrate International Networking Week, CNObound has evolved. We have become a network platform. We're launching the CNObound Networker package, and that it means that you as a member will be able to network with other members from around the globe.
So soon we will be launching Get Connected Bristol Temple Meads, Get Connected Swindon, Get Connected London, Get Connected Cardiff Central, and many, many more to come, as well as Get Connected Global, which will be running once a month.
It is. We're so excited about this. We have taken on board our members' feedback. We have taken on board our members' requests. And as a result, CNObound Network has now officially launched.
Now, the best thing about this, I don't know about you, but networking for both of us and for most of our members, I would have thought, means building relationships. And with CNObound's Get Connected, that's exactly what you get to do. So you don't have to practice your 60 seconds. You literally just come in, say who you are, and then you get a chance to have 4 one-to-ones, because we all know, as
The
Jamie was
magic
saying,
is in a one-to-one.
Exactly.
So tell us a little bit about the socials. What's happening with our Get Connected social, which is originally how we started. And the funny thing about the Get Connected social was we started it in order to educate our members about the CNObound platform. And that has evolved and evolved and evolved. But it's changing. So what's happening with that, Charlotte?
Because I love events. As you know, that's my background, and we have been absolutely desperate to get out and about again. We've got a camper van, as you know. So we're going to rock up at lots of different locations, lots of different venues, small venues as well as big venues with speaking events and stuff like that. So yeah, best way to find out is go to cnobounds.co.uk/events.
We've also got our Get Inspired. That is not changing. We've had some amazing Get Inspired events, and every single member that has attended them has fed back to us at just how awesome they are. So look, that's all from us, okay? If you want to know more, get in touch, pick up the phone, drop us an email. We don't mind. We are happy here to answer any of your questions, both myself, Charlotte, and the rest of the CNObound team. So remember, get connected, and we will see you very, very soon. Take care. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello, and welcome back to another fantastic episode of Business for Entrepreneurs, where we are joined every week by an expert talking about their particular subject and their business journey. And today is no different, except for a pronunciation test for me. So we're joined today by Phillippa Yilstrom from Hugen Consultants. Phillippa, was I even close?
Yeah, that was actually really good. Yeah, Phillippa Yilstrom, Hugen Consulting. Well done, you. It's the Swedish surname, isn't it? And the Swedish name of the title, so of the company.
Yeah, and you would think, since I'm married a Swede, that I would have my tongue around this by now.
Absolutely. I mean, I expected that.
But you are joining us all the way from Sweden.
I am.
Which is absolutely brilliant. And look, we love having you on the show. You're an absolute bottle of pop. Let's talk a little bit about your business journey. I'm pretty, we know you now, and I'm pretty ashamed with you. But I feel that there's secrets. I feel that there is business secrets that we don't know about. So come on, Phillippa, dig deep. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Okay. Well, where would you like me to start? Well, okay. First of all, I like to say I don't have a career ladder. I have a career climbing frame. Yeah. So, you know, I've kind of gone up, moved over, moved down a bit, taken a bit of a break, you know, gone and done something else, and then moved on. So that one has to say to start with. Then when it comes to why I'm landing on community right now is that I was thinking about it earlier today, thinking, well, how am I going to start here? And I actually realized that because of the type of childhood I had, and I ended up moving and going to 7 different schools as a child because of my parents moving, and then we moved abroad, and then we came back again. So actually, to clarify the wonderful English accent here, I am born and bred in England and the UK. Yeah, and so I went to Switzerland, back to the UK, which also confuses people because now I'm in Sweden, not the same country.
Yeah, we get that a lot. Switzerland and Sweden, yeah.
Austria and Australia.
Exactly. So yeah, and because of that, it meant that my parents also sort of managed to keep moving me like in the middle of a school year. And so I got really good at turning up in a community. So a school for me is an in-person community. Turning up in a community at a time where there weren't really the introductions being done, you know, that sort of big startup at the beginning of a school year. I was sort of plonked in a class and had to make my own way. And so I realized that I developed skills of networking, of forming small communities within communities, of creating groups, of initiating things, because it was kind of it was a survival strategy. And so looking back and thinking, well, what is it? What is my zone of genius? What is it? You know, why am I doing what I'm doing? And it comes from there, this ability to connect with people. And yeah, and then I'm going to hop to a couple of years ago. I've been working, as I say, in communities in education for like a few decades. That sort of shows I've got grey hair. You can see it, so I can say that. Yeah, I love my grey hair. Yeah, so I've been working in education in in-person communities. It wasn't just that I went to school. I then ended up working in schools. And honing those skills, continuing to hone those skills. Then I left education, did a little bit of other stuff about sort of 8 years ago, and then went back into sort of the education branch, but actually on the corporate level, so instructional level, and stepped into that world for a bit. But I keep sort of going in and out of entrepreneurship sort of throughout my life as I look back as well. And we don't have hours, so I'm not going to tell you all of the other businesses I've had and all the other stuff I've done. Needless to say, this is my 4th European country that I'm living in. And I think it's the 3rd or 4th time that I decided to become an entrepreneur. So 2020 hit and the pandemic. And I actually was in a job and I decided to leave it. I was one of the few people that I wasn't, because of the pandemic, that I actually lost my job and became an entrepreneur. I chose to. I'm one of these people, I always think, if there's a crisis, there's an opportunity. And there was a worldwide crisis. So in March of that year, I'm going, there's opportunity here. There is opportunity for me. And so by June, I was handing in my notice, leaving my job earlier than the actual, I was on a sort of project earlier than planned, and starting up my company. And I decided to sort of bring together everything that I've been working with all my life, with people, with connections, with community.
What country were you in at this point?
I was in Sweden.
I've asked that question before.
Yeah.
When you decided to quit your job, where were you?
I was in Sweden. I've been here now for 20 years. And actually that's quite interesting as well, because we're the country in the world that didn't have lockdown ever. We had recommendations to stay at home, but we weren't forced to. Anyway, that's another thing. But yeah, so I started my company. I decided to use my coaching, mentoring, instructional skills, and first sort of stepped into a broader coaching sphere, stepped into a community, and led by a great coach in the States called Rich Litvin, actually a Brit who now lives in Los Angeles, and stepped into his community. And within 100 days, they were coming up to me and going, "We don't know what you're doing, but whatever it is, it's good. Can you keep doing that?" And then within 6 months, they're coming back and going, would you consider being a community manager for our community and actually being a member of faculty? And I went, no, because I knew that I didn't want that. I didn't want to be a community manager of one community. I want to make a bigger impact than that. That's always been my thing. It's like, do things big. And so I'm like, no, I'm going to hone in. I'm going to niche down, because I realized obviously community is just calling to me again. And rather than sort of the higher level coaching I was doing, niche down and actually focus on helping small business owners build, grow, and monetize their communities. And using coaching, instruction, mentoring, the whole shebang. And for me, it's really important as well to get people to move from just learning to action, because that's one of the things that I really feel is still a problem within the education space, is the fact that we teach things to people, content, lots and lots of content, and then we leave it up to them to work out how they're going to learn it and put it into action. And so for me, that's sort of kind of my USP, as it were, my real big thing that I'm passionate about is like, when you work with me, I'm going to work with your mindset as well. And we're going to see what we can do to set yourself up for success. And we're going to find out your favorite flavor of failure, because we all have them. And those are the things that are stopping you from actually having that success, taking that action, moving forward, and fulfilling the dreams that we all have. Yeah. And so I'm doing this in the community space and helping small businesses, entrepreneurs to get on this bandwagon that is huge. I mean, the community space, the community industry is booming right now. It is the business model of the future. And
well, that's reassuring.
Very much so, isn't it?
So, Phillippa, this is when the idea came, isn't it, for the Thriving Community Summit? And it's always been one of your dreams. And it's always been something that you really wanted to do. So where did you start in the middle of a pandemic, online, reaching out to business people, business entrepreneurs? Tell us a little bit more about how that all came about.
Okay, so I took part in a summit, just as you say, there is a history to it. I was an attendee at a summit, 2016, sitting there in my kitchen at the kitchen table going, oh, this is really good. You know, you get thousands of people together and we're all learning, and I want to do this. 2016, I didn't really know what to do it about, though. Fast forward to today, and in less than 2 weeks' time, I am launching the Thriving Community Summit. And yes, so back in November, I made that decision. I put the dates on the calendar and then started working. I have a fabulous business coach who has done this many, many times before. So with his help and his guidance, his name is Liam Austin. He has himself done 15 summits and has helped countless of entrepreneurs and business owners launch their own. So I am getting help. This is a big event. It is complex. And so I'm not inventing the wheel completely from the beginning. I'm still going to say, though, it is an awful lot to do. And I've had very, very long days over these last weeks. And how did I do it? Well, I reached out. I was what is really, really kind of cool about this is the fact that I decided to step into the community space. I was kind of unknown in the community space. And so I was almost starting at sort of zero. It's almost like, when you're coming out of college or university, it's like you're starting at zero. You've got to start somewhere. And so, at the grand old age of 52, I was starting in a new industry going, I'm going to go in there. And I have this sort of saying that guides me through my life. And that is like, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. And I want to hang out with the best. Now, I'm not attached to the number 5 necessarily, but the concept that I want to hang out with the best. So, of course, I want the best people at the summit. I want to be hanging out with the best because they are going to inspire me and also ensure that I stay top of my game. And I also love to be on the forefront of development. So I want to be up there with the people that are also striving to be on the forefront, striving to be their best at the, and up, really up at the top of their game as well. And so I then, contacted over 450 people to get my just over 30 speakers together. And it's not just about knocking on the door once.
Yeah, how did you dwindle them down to 30? I mean,
well, no, because you see, it takes a lot of, you knock on the door. It's like not everybody answered. You knock on the door once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Like, okay, it didn't work on that platform. Let's find another platform. Let's knock on their door again once, twice. So when it comes to like emails, we probably sent out, myself and my assistant, well over 1,000 emails, and we weren't automating it. We wanted it to feel personal. So yes, we had some like sort of template text, but when they were answering, we were often writing back to them, so we spent weeks just doing the research. Who did we want? Emailing them or finding them on LinkedIn or Facebook or these other social platforms, reaching out to them, and not once, not twice, but 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. So we're kind of persistent.
Yeah, I've got to come in on this because I know a certain guest that's involved with it. And how did that happen? Because you met on LinkedIn, right?
Well, yes. No, in actual fact, this was lovely with Charlott. You mean this?
Yeah,
one
go on.
Yeah. Can I name her? Charlott's one of my speakers. Well, actually, Charlott was one of those that I didn't have to knock on the door. She knocked on mine, and I'm not
That's
sure.
How we roll.
Yes. So it hasn't. It has been the other way around for 1 or 2 speakers, and once you get some great speakers as well, other people have then referred me to other people, connected me. So, but yeah, with Charlott, she reached out, and I can't quite remember how it went, but it was like, that was it. You reached out to connect. And I looked then at, who is this Charlott and what's she doing? I'm like, oh my God, I need to speak to her. So I'm like, hello, I think you're a speaker for my summit. And that's how we ended up talking. And what I'm really, really pleased about is the fact that this speaking engagement was Charlott's first, because normally, as I understand it, I would get you, Jamie, and I went, no, let's have you, Charlott.
Yeah, but that's the funny thing about it, right? And that's what, a lot of people, when you look in, and this is more of a business perspective, right? So Charlott and I are very much the face of our business, right? We're very much that face of it. And yeah, I am a speaker. I work on the professional speaking circuit, but actually Charlott is incredibly knowledgeable around this area, around communities. And I mean, she's been doing it for years. Charlott's worked in hospitality, which is at the heart of the community, for nearly 30 years. That's a lot of experience. And I don't have that. I don't have that experience. So, there is that element. So actually, I think probably, Phillippa, out of the two of us, you probably had the better person for the job, because, you know, I can tell you how to motivate yourself, and I can tell you how to get back up when you're falling over, and I can tell you how to do stupid stuff, because I'm very good at that. But when it comes to, you know, being the heart of the community and being that epicenter of a community, then actually I think Charlotte is, I think you had the best speaker of the two. So yeah, you lucked in on that one, definitely.
I think it's incredible though, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, but Jamie, it wasn't luck, you know, it was intuition. I just felt that, you know,
we'll go with that as well, right? We'll go with that.
It's incredible how you reached out to community, to thousands of, you know, hundreds of people and thousands of emails, and getting the response. So what was the response from the people that came about? What were their energy? Were there people going, yes, I want to be part of this, this is exciting? How did that happen?
Well, okay, so at the beginning, of course, they're like, who are you? kind of thing. I mean, it wasn't what they were saying, but you kind of sort of got that vibe sometimes, you know, and it was like lots of questions, and it's like, and I think a lot of it was like, because I don't have a track record of having like several summits, you know, there wasn't anything to refer to. So it's like, well, is this going to happen? You know, I'm going to be launching a podcast in May, so I can continue the conversations around community. And you know, I remember being in conversation with somebody a couple of weeks ago, perhaps a month ago, about being on the podcast, and he's like, I think I'm going to wait, if you don't mind, to just make sure that you do actually have the first couple of episodes of the podcast, because he says, I've had the experience of actually having interviews with people for podcasts, and then they haven't launched it, or they haven't done the episode. So I'm like, yeah, I get it. So there was a little bit of that at the beginning with some people, lots of questions. With others, they just said, yeah, let's go for it. And then
I'll say yes to that one.
Yeah, exactly. And the momentum then picked up. And so in the end, it became like, in the end, I ended up with too many speakers. So people that I haven't put on the summit then are speaking on the podcast. So I already have, I already have about 15 people lined up, which is pretty good considering how hard I worked to get my 30 plus speakers, just over 30 speakers for the summit. The podcast is like really,
it's flowing.
So you have some amazing names within the speaking circuit, both from US, from the UK, from all over the places. So tell us a little bit of what to expect from the summit and how to go about joining as well.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, to join, you take the webpage, the Thriving Community Summit, all one word, .com. So thrivingcommunitysummit.com. And there you can sign up for a free ticket. It's free. And then you will get emails from me reminding you when to join, and you will get the links to when the speakers are going live, and it's happening between the 25th and the 29th of April. And then what to expect? Well, when I created this, I really wanted to cover a lot of different aspects of community. So we're looking not just at starting a community, but how to scale it. We're also looking at diversity, equity, and inclusion. We're looking at case studies, you know, big communities, small communities. And again, I really wanted to get some people from around the world. So I've got people from Australia, I've got Jefta from Nigeria, and I've got from you know, Europe and the US. And so that kind of was also, I wanted it to feel like it was going to be really international. And then I'm partnering with Topia. They are a software company that creates a platform which is like a metaverse. It's better than Zoom, I'm going to say, because of the soundscape and the fact that you get this feeling of being in this conference, and you can like go up to groups of people and then you can move away and talk to the next one. And it's a great networking platform. We're going to be running some live workshops and a post-summit mingle on Topia's platform. So this is really exciting as well. So it's more than a summit. It's become, because that's me as well. I really want people that attend the summit to not just be sitting there and listening to the speakers and getting information. I wanted to offer them a space to come to where they can talk with others, where we can help them bust through some of their mindset issues as well, because it's very easy to listen to somebody speaking about their success and go, oh, well, it's all very well for them, but I can't because, and to be able to be in a workshop where we can go, oh, but have you thought of this? And what about, and to change the perspective and to help them see other possibilities and move forward, or to get people actually committing to small steps, the next step. What can you do today? What can you do tomorrow? What are you going to do next week? So that this summit doesn't become like so many other conferences that I'm sure we've all attended, and we think, wow, really great content, and then you go back to work and life hits you like a runaway train and you don't implement anything you've learned. And that again comes from my educational background. I'm really, really keen for people to come, learn, take action, because I really would love to hear stories further down the line of your summit started off a new business for me, or your summit really helped rejuvenate my community, and I really learned some great stuff from these people here. So
it is great. And I will tell you from experience, it is brilliant when that happens, right? When someone says, I did this because of something you've done or said, is honestly, it's one of the best payouts that you'll ever receive.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about business now, right? Because I mean, running a summit is no mean feat. You've gone into business now. You're what, 2 and a bit years in? Yeah, just over 2 years in. And people listening in. So, you know, you're looking at running a podcast. You're looking to expand, looking into new areas. Tell us a little bit about the business journey, right? So, because there's people going to be tuning into this and going, "The summit sounds brilliant. The podcast sounds amazing," but I'm in a position now where I'm looking to go in and run my own company. You know, what am I looking at? How am I looking to do that? And for some people, building a community is going to be part of their business. So talk to us a little bit about your early days into business and how, you know, the obstacles you've had to face and the challenges you've had to face, but also some of the positive stuff as well, because, you know, you are a patriot in a foreign country at the end of the day, running a business in an online world. You've come up against some challenges, I'm sure. So tell us a little bit about some of that.
Okay, so I always remember, I'm going to quote my mother. No, there you go. So I don't know how many people do that, but my mum always used to say, because she's also been an entrepreneur, and she said, you know, it's ever so easy to start a company. You just start it. And it's so true. Every time I've wanted to start a company, you just start it. And then suddenly you've got a company. So that's not the hurdle, really. You know, make your decision, fill in the paperwork, and suddenly you've got a company. And but you might not have some customers, you might not actually have a product, but, you know, getting the actual sort of company name or what, you don't need a website either. It's like, that isn't the most important thing. My goodness, I, you know, didn't have a website to begin with at all. And then you know, then the work starts. It's like, okay, you want to be working with what you do know and love, because I mean, people buy you joy. So tap into that, and then the work starts, doesn't it? It's identifying what products I can produce, what services I'm going to offer, who is my ideal client, these sort of things that anybody who's started a business knows that they're going to go through. So that wasn't unusual. I think, though, one of my learnings, which I would like to share with everybody, is that we don't connect enough. Or we connect. So I'm very good at connecting. And when I started my business, I stepped into a coaching community because I wanted to hang out with, again, you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So I'm like, I want to hang out with coaches that are striving to be the best. And I want to learn a bit more about coaching, and I want to immerse myself in that. And so I spent a lot of time connecting with coaches there, but they weren't going to be my clients. And so it's again, I was talking about setting yourself up for success and your favorite flavor of failure. It can be very easy to go and connect with people that I don't have to sell to.
Mm.
And I think, well, this is all business and this is really good for me and I'm learning lots, but you're not actually talking to the people that are going to be your potential clients, that are actually going to, take out their credit card because they believe that you are going to solve a pain of theirs. And I normally say to people that are struggling with connecting, you're probably doing the world a bit of a disservice by not offering it, by not connecting, by not doing that work. And so it took me a while to shift and to realize that basically I'm procrastinating. It's a kind of form of procrastination. It's like I'm not actually doing the connecting work with the right types of people. And once I started doing that, then of course I started getting a client base. And I'm working together with a coach that his sort of basis is it's one conversation at a time. That's how you start your business. And that really is that, because that's how we're connecting. Even all of these speakers, I had, basically thousands of conversations, whether it was through email or direct messaging or whether it was through jumping on a call. I've had those conversations. But when I'm having that conversation, it is with, one person at a time, connecting and listening to where they are, what is their pain, and offering them a painkiller, basically, the solution, a way out, a way forward for them. And so that has been both my success. So you were talking about my success and the things that have been holding me back. It's kind of like the two sides of a coin. It can be my success, but it also can, if you're not connecting in the right way or not doing it, you're not going to move your business forward. Sorry.
No, I was going to say that's a really good point, because I think we get sometimes there's so many ways of connecting. There's so many places to connect, and you get messages from all over. And so many people get very sort of overwhelmed about what to do and who to connect to. And sometimes you find yourself, I think, not connecting with the right people. So I think that's a really top tip for people to listen into.
Or you fall into what I call ostrich syndrome, where you just stick your head in the sand and you don't achieve anything.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And a lot of people do. They say to me, I don't know who to connect to. I don't know where to start. And it's not that. They do know where to start, but they're actually doing the ostrich thing. There's this fear again. And again, it's a mindset thing. It's like, okay, what is actually stopping you? And often it's this, oh, well, I don't want to appear, salesy, pushy, whatever. It's like, again, if you've got something and you've been put on, you're on this world to share some amazing product, gift, service that you are really, really good at doing, then you're doing the world a disservice if you're not sharing that, if you're not telling people about it. And that's not salesy. That's actually withholding something that could solve somebody else's problem. And then there was one other thing I thought I would share as well, which is an interesting concept too, which I've always worked with. And that is, for me, goals are slightly different. And this is also something, a concept that I learned sort of when I first entered this coaching community. And I really love this concept. And it's the idea of a goal not being a place that I'm going to. It's a place to come from. So when I decided to be a community coach and consultant, if that's my goal, that's not my goal. It's not a place I'm going to. That is somebody I be. That is somebody I am now. That is somebody I tell people that I am and that I work with. And so I would advise people that are starting a business, tell people who you already are. So when I first started coaching 2 years ago, I said to people, I'm a life coach and I coach CEOs. I didn't have one client then. However, it's about how I showed up. It's like, this is what I do. whether I actually have a client today or whether it's tomorrow. You know, I might not have a client because I decide to have a break as well, you know, or I'm on holiday or whatever, you know. It's like I may be between, you know, whatever. It's not like I'm lying. It's a way of being. It's not waiting to be something. It's like I am that already. I go from my goal, and that really affects how you be in the world and how you show up. And that opens up conversations, because then you can go, well, I do this, and people go, oh, well, that's interesting. You know what? I know somebody who actually could do with your skills and your knowledge, and it opens up, instead of, well, I'm working to be, I'm going to be. And it's like, well, people go, well, let me know when you're that, and I'll see if I know anybody who, you know, I can connect you with. It's you've already decided to be the entrepreneur. Say, I'm an entrepreneur. I have a small business, or I'm an entrepreneur. I say, you know, I run $1 million business, and I'm the go-to person in the community space. I'm a community consultant and coach.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I love that.
There's some real golden nuggets there. I mean, look, we got to end the show at some point, right? Because otherwise, you know, we can talk all night. But there is some serious golden nuggets just in that last little bit as well. But if you were to give anybody a single top tip about business, what would it be?
Okay. Just do it. I mean, literally just do it.
I've got nothing better.
I couldn't agree more. And you know what? That is the first step, isn't it, for people? Just get on and do it. Stop talking about it and just do it. And that's why we love having you on the show. That's why we love talking to you, because you are that energy. You just get on and you do it. And you do it really, really well.
It is, yeah. This is literally the second conversation I've had like this today. And it is brilliant when you get someone in a room that just wants to make things happen. And that's exactly what you've done. So thank you for coming on the show and basically telling everybody else that if you want something bad enough, go out there and make it happen. Because let me tell you, it will not land on your plate. Phillippa, it's been lovely having you as a guest. It's been lovely having you on the show. I want to say a massive thank you for your time. And I'm so excited about working with you. So yeah, I look forward to the summit. This is a podcast, so it is time stamped, but just tell us the dates again of the summit, please.
Yeah, it's the 25th to the 29th of April. So it's the last week in April.
2022. So if you're listening to this after the show, you're too late. If you're listening to it before that, make sure you go to the website and get yourself booked on. And once again, Phillippa, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening. Thank you so much for everything. And we will see you right back here next week with another fantastic episode of Business for Entrepreneurs. So from all of us, take care.
Hiya, and welcome to a very special live show here at Live at 5 with the gorgeous Lady Adey, who is an author and a publisher, and she runs the Book Academy. There's nothing that she can't do. And there are books from all different genres to suit any audience. But today we're talking about audiobooks, because I don't know if you know, but it is Audiobook Appreciation Day, and you've got a new launch coming up, lady. So welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, I have no problem what a book, you know, what the format is, whether that is a printed book, electronic ebook, or audiobook. You know, for me, it's, you know, somebody has emptied their brain on either subject or their imagination, and it's just passed through that medium to others. I just think it's amazing.
It is lovely, isn't it? And really, in a lot of the networks, because we do a lot of networking, and this is actually the book. So it is Successful Business Networking that you're launching as an audiobook. And we are very proud to be in this as well. I just want to say we got 3 pages in there. So very, very excited. So tell us a little bit about the book for those of the people that haven't read it.
The book, which is now coming out, as you say, is an audio book, is all about online networking. It has the principles of networking, which doesn't matter whether that's in person or online. But I wrote it during the lockdown originally, since been revised. But because of that, so much more networking came online. And I wanted to know what was the difference. What was the difference between in person and online? And I think there are significant differences. And that's what the book explores. And that's what the book gives you some do's and don'ts. And we even look at online fatigue.
Yeah, it's a really interesting part, isn't it? But as I mentioned, in a lot of the networking groups that we belong to, publishing a book has become a really sort of big thing. And it's like, it's that achievement that people kind of want. So if people are looking to publish a book, and maybe audio is easier. So tell us how audiobooks work, and can you just publish an audiobook? You don't have to have a book in such as in hardback as well.
Well, the format is your choice. So just like some people just do the Kindle or electronic version and only that, they don't do a print one. They just go for electronic. So other people could just do an audiobook. Once you've got the material, I actually think let's have the whole suite and do it all, but then I'm a maximizer. But there's no reason why you can't. And the market for audiobooks is increasing. People really do, enjoy them.
Yeah, and I think it's a really interesting, because we talk a lot, as you know, about dyslexia as well. And I know that you don't hide the fact that you're a dyslexic author as well. And it's a very easy way sometimes if people have severe dyslexia, because they often stop themselves from reading books. And that's where audiobooks can really be useful, isn't it?
That's right. I don't know many people who do an audiobook, like just talk it. Most people read from a print or have got a manuscript of some sort, and from that do the audiobook.
Yeah.
But it's up to you. You can actually produce it yourself. You just need really good mics, but it's not difficult. And then there's other ways where you actually find the right voice and employ or outsource to a narrator or a voiceover coach to do it for you.
Yeah, that's a really, so you've got a webinar coming up as well on the 29th of June. So tell us a little bit what you're going to be talking about, because that is all audio books, but tell us a little bit about the content and what's happening on that day, because that's also the launch, of course, of this audiobook. So
that's right. We're having the webinar just before the launch, but why audiobooks work. So it's for anybody who's got any interest in audiobooks, or authors who've got their books out there but haven't done the audiobook yet. So we've got the great Jenny Erickson, who I know you've had as a speaker in the past. And is she a member of See No Bounds?
I think she's, yes.
Yeah, she is. She's opening the conference at 4:00 on the benefits of an audiobook and choosing the right voice to narrate your book. And then we have interviews with people who have either done it themselves or got other people in. So we're looking at the narrator's perspective, and we're looking also, the hardest bit of anything to do with books is the distribution and marketing of the audiobook. Then, so that's the first couple of hours. 6:00, it's into the launch of Successful Business Networking Online, where I'm going to have people who are featured in the book read their little passages. So and so that'll be great. And then we'll be talking with the Cat's Meow production, who I'm partnering the whole webinar with, and they are, have got offers if somebody wants to move their printed book into the audio realm.
It sounds fantastic. If you're thinking about doing something like this, you can really get some great sort of hints and tips if you come along. So yeah, I'm going to put some details in the chat of where they can find out a bit more and where they can register as well. Because it's a completely free event. It's on the 29th of June and it's between 4 till 7 p.m. but you don't have to. If you can't make up 3 hours, you can just jump on for the launch or just jump on in the beginning if you're looking for the interviews and hints and tips. And it's also recorded, so you can have the recording if you log in to register to attend. But I think you mentioned a really valuable point. You said the hardest bit is about the marketing. And I think a lot of people forget that. And once they got the book, they go, "Oh, I've got the book and it's great." And then they realize that they're not selling any books.
That's
So
right.
what would your advice be before you're sort of thinking of putting the effort into doing and producing a book and publishing, whether it's an audiobook or both? What are your thoughts around marketing?
Right. Well, what I say to my authors is, your book, I know it's your baby, but at some point it then becomes a product, and you have to market it in the same way you would any product. And these days with social media and stuff, it's all about the list. So the moment someone signs up with me, we start building their list. So they have people they can email who they know not only will open the email from them, but are interested. Because no point just having a list of email addresses where people are like, "Oh, here's another one from that person, I'm not interested." So they have to be interested in the journey that this author's going on. So they have to get that relationship right and build that list up so that when they launch, 6 months to a year from the time they had the idea and started doing the work of writing a book or talking a book or however they're going to produce the book, that that they have maybe 1,000 emails, so that when they say we're launching it, they know they're going to have a good audience of really interested people who will help them to tell the rest of the world about their book.
That's a really good tip, actually, because a lot of people do the book and then they think about the marketing.
Yeah, who's going to come to my launch?
I know. But it's often a mistake we make, isn't it? Because like you said, it's your baby and you want to look after it, and you kind of get so engrossed in what you're doing, so you forget the fundamental part of actually who's going to buy your book. And yeah, really good hints and tips. Somebody once mentioned to me that if you take 4 hours a day, say, to write it, then you should also think about 4 hours to promote it. Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't necessarily. Well, if you do that per day, then that's your full-time job. A
Yeah.
lot of authors are writing and have a business to run, or they're in a profession, they're got to earn a salary. So when they're doing it part-time, I would say that 4 hours would be per week. And you make it as much or as little as you can do to make it happen.
Yeah. Is it so I've got another last question before we sort of go off today, but I think this is quite interesting. So anyone can really write a book, but do you need to think about the audience before you take the step to think about the marketing? And I think you need to also kind of think about who's going to want to read it. Would you say that's something that you need to think about before you publish your book?
Yes, we get our authors to really consider that, because why are they writing the book? Is it for themselves? Is it a memoir? Do they really only want it for their family, friends, and their Christmas card list? Or have they got a message that they want to pass on, or a story to tell which is going to capture imagination? Whether it's fiction, non-fiction. So the why is really important. And when I'm working with people, it seems to me, people come to me and they go, "Everybody's going to want my book." And I go, okay, maybe not. And then I have the other one is, "Well, I'm going to do it, but I don't think anyone's going to read it." So it's polarized. And when you actually niche it, depending on what the subject is, then you can find what your market is, who the readers are.
Yeah.
Because people have different tastes when it comes to reading books, and so that's the genre. And also, how do they find your book? So we work hard on, when we're using Amazon, on the Amazon algorithm, so that we can get good traction, so people can find you easy. And that also affects your title, your subtitle, and everything comes all quite together, but there's lots of little pieces of that jigsaw.
That's right. And if you want to learn more, You can obviously come along to the webinar on the 29th of June, which we've been talking about. I know Tammy's just joined us. So it is about audiobooks. It's about celebrating this month is Audiobook Appreciation Day, or month, I should say, but it is also about just celebrating books. And if you're looking to write your book or find out more, then you can obviously find us on www.sceneofbounds.co.uk, where you will find Lady Adey. But where else are you visible, Lady?
I have my own website, same thing, ladyadey.com. I also have a podcast where I just talk books with people, and they can be either authors or avid readers, and that's the Lady Adey Show. So, and social media, a distinctive name helps.
I know you're visible everywhere, and you really do so much for your community and the Book Academy and everything else. So yeah, I really, if you want to write a book, I highly recommend you get in touch with Lady and speak to her about how you can go about it. That's the first step, isn't it? So thank you so much for joining me today. It's always really lovely to see you, and I look forward to next time. So for now, thank you very much from us, and thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Welcome to Blue Koala Office Solutions. We are here to help you grow with competitive rates and reliable sources, allowing you to expand and develop in an efficient way. Why do you need a virtual office address? Perhaps you're working from home, but you don't want to use your home address. You may be an expanding business and are looking to attract businesses in Newport and or Cardiff. Are you looking for an address you can register with Google and SEO? We offer flexible short-term agreements, super high-speed fibre, 24-hour access and security, meeting room for up to 6 people. We are located in Whitchurch, Cardiff, with easy access from M4 and A470, and as well as the meeting room, we also have a podcast studio and a film studio that you can rent on an hourly basis. We have created a cozy hidden gem where businesses can come together to brainstorm, as well as having a professional environment. So if you would like to find out more, get in touch. info@bluekoalaofficesolutions.com.